Have you thought to yourself recently, gee, everything sure is getting more expensive?
That's because Trump is president. What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another stream here. Make sure you are following me on TikTok. Same name, Adam Cray, ADAMCRAI. If you're not following me on TikTok, you're missing one half of my content. So make sure you follow me over there. Let's get this gifting goal kicked off. Let's go. Trump is doing a stupid turning point rally. That's what I've heard. That's what I heard. Let's take a listen. Let's just check in with the turning point rally.
All of these things, it'll stay with us forever. But if we don't win the midterms, I said it during my State of the
Let's go, Drew.
When I interviewed and talked to some people backstage, I said, I'd like to have some
Drew
of these
kicking it
people
the hell off.
called out for their greatness. And we gave
Mama
out,
Moon, thank you for the stay hydrated.
the Congressional Medal of Honor to a young man who was flying a helicopter with practically his legs shot off. And he landed in Venezuela perfectly with a lot of men on board, like 48. And if that goes down, the Venezuela, incredible attack, nobody killed. Hundreds of millions of barrels of oil taken out. The relationship with Venezuela is great. We're working, it's like a great partnership. But if that doesn't happen, we looked at the Democrats.
This is happening right now, folks, for those of you just joining.
Medal of Honor.
Corey, thank you for the $5 super chat. Let's go, Corey. W for supporting the content, Corey. Alicia with the $5 super chat. W, let's go. Supporting the content, that's what it's about.
She could hardly stand, crying
People who just don't enjoy the content, but they also support the content. That's what it's all about. That's what keeps it going.
100 years, he was 101 years old. Gave him the Congressional Medal of Honor for his great heroics. Wasn't recognized until I came along. Not one Democrat clapped.
Claire Baird, W with the $4.99 super chat, supporting the content. Let's go.
They don't want to pay our border security, and they don't want to pay our great patriots of ICE. ICE is a tough job. You got those murders that they allowed into our country. Think of it. Thousands of murders came into our
Wenchi with the
country.
Norwegian
11,000,
50. Thank you for the Norwegian 50. I think USD $5. Thank you so much, Wenchi. And Barb with the $4.99 super chat. Appreciate you, Barb.
Criminals.
Corey, thank you for the one gifted membership. Let's go.
And I don't want that job, and most of you don't either.
This is happening right now. This is President Donald Trump delivering remarks at the T-Pussa. I call it T-Pussa Build the Red Wall event in Phoenix, Arizona. In Phoenix, Arizona. Cringe. Turning Point USA. Charlie Kirk's own Turning Point USA. Keycat with the $5 super chat. Let's go, Keycat.
And whether you're liberal, conservative, doesn't matter. Democrat, Republican, Independent, it's crazy. And I looked at them as we went through.
We're not staying here long, folks. We're going to listen for about 10 minutes, and then we're bouncing. So,
these people are crazy.
TJ Warren TV, thank you for the $9.99 super chat. Appreciate you, TJ Warren. Marianne, let's fucking go, Marianne. And Metal Dude coming in hot, supporting the content.
Television, maybe standing backstage. They said, this guy is killing you. Start clapping. And the last half hour, they were clapping for everything I said. They were clapping for everything, things they shouldn't have been clapping for, because they heard they were getting killed. Just remember that night. That night was a very telling night. And we don't want to go back to that. We don't want open borders where millions of people pour into our country. We want to have safe borders. We want people coming.
So that's Donald Trump speaking right now at the Turning Point USA Build the Red Wall event in Phoenix, Arizona, trying to keep Charlie Kirk's legacy alive. Donald Trump speaking on behalf of the conservative movement. But something that was very telling that he said was, we're going to win the midterms. Basically guaranteeing they're going to win the midterms. Well, I think we all know what that means, folks. And what does that mean for us? Too big to rig. too big to rig. We have to get out and vote like we've never voted before. If you're just joining right now, make sure you hit the thumbs up button. Make sure you are followed. Make sure you're subscribed, rather, on TikTok. Make sure if you are considering becoming a member of the channel, you become a member of the channel. And what's up, everybody? How's it going? It's Friday night. I was thinking about taking the night off, but here I am again, as consistent as I possibly can be. Everett World Games says, bro, friggin' liberals this day. Everett, make sure you call in the phone number, right? Let's hear it. Are you a Trump supporter? Hey, by the way, guys, I did post on my story on TikTok the names of the Democrats who supported sending bulldozers to Gaza. Chuck Schumer, of course, in that list. John Fetterman, of course, in that list. If I was there, I would be there. Shut up, he's a great president, Hudson says. Well, Hudson, you're welcome to call in and tell me why he's a great president, unless you're embarrassed to say you support Donald Trump. You're welcome to call in 908-652-3703. Call in right now and tell me why you do, in fact, support Donald Trump, why you do, in fact, think he's a great president. Yes, free Palestine. Marianne, thank you so much. Appreciate you. Nayland with the $4.99 super chat. Let's go, Nayland. Nayland in the chat. Thank you to those who actually support the content. Don't just enjoy it, but support it. Appreciate you so much. Benjamin, are you a Trump supporter?
Yes, sir. And let me tell you why.
How old are you?
Kanye West 2020.
Figured you a child. I could tell right off the bat. You know why? Because you're squeaking. You're squeaking, and nothing can stop me from identifying you as a child because of the squeak. All right? So stop trying, fetus, or I'll call your mom and get you grounded. Yes, I do think it's a possibility they interfere with the midterms. I mean, I'm concerned about it, of course. Hopefully that doesn't happen, but you never know.
Call from.
You like this?
No, you're a kid. Oh, God, this time is the worst. I get a little fetuses. My opinions are incredibly important, and there's nothing you can do about it, conquerors. So you'll just have to sit quietly and watch Daddy take control of the narrative because you're scared to call in.
Patrick.
Patrick, are you a Trump supporter?
I'm a Trump supporter 100%.
Nice.
Voted for him 3 times.
Wow. Are you proud of that?
Absolutely.
Real quick, Patrick, getting a surface level understanding of what kind of a Trump supporter you are. What do you think about Donald Trump depicting himself as Jesus? Just curious.
I think it was a hilarious meme.
Meme.
What is people need to lighten up and quit being offended so easily. Since when did this become a country of pussies? When did that happen?
I don't think that anyone is like, I mean, what it has to do with is blasphemy. I think Christians have a right to be upset. I mean, I think it was blasphemy. I think you shouldn't depict yourself as Jesus, and I agree with that.
Does that make him a bad president?
That alone doesn't make him a bad president, but I think this is a pattern we've identified as that indicates there's a serious cognitive decline.
A cognitive decline because he posted a meme that was offensive.
Well, I said pattern, Patrick, right? So I'm saying it's not just this. There's a number of different things I think that indicate there's a cognitive decline.
Such as?
I mean, for instance, let's start with the war in Iran. Do you support it?
I support what has come of it, absolutely 100%. At first, I was totally opposed, but now I see what has come from it and why it has actually occurred, and we're killing it in the oil game.
Really? So that's what you think it's about, even though Trump hasn't said that's what it's about? Trump says this is a short-term investment, right?
Yeah.
And we're not killing it in the oil game. I mean, they've temporarily opened, Iran has temporarily opened the Strait of Hormuz because of the ceasefire between Lebanon and Israel. Initially, the United States denied that Lebanon was a part of the ceasefire. Iran said, yes, they are a part of the ceasefire, and we demand that Israel stop attacking them because Israel launched their deadliest attacks since the beginning of the war after the ceasefire was signed. The United States complied, and then Iran opened the strait. I think Iran is in complete control right now.
Yeah. Since when do we believe what the Iranian government tells the world?
Well, what did I just say that's incorrect, Patrick?
And I don't believe what our government says either. I honestly, I despise our government. I hate it. It's corrupt, it's disgusting, and it's evil. But I believe the only individual to enter the arena that actually does have the country of America, as the priority. I believe the only person is President Trump because he's not a politician. He doesn't need money, so he doesn't need to be paid off. He's doing this. All it's done is damaged his personal life, his family life, his financial life. Whereas the other politicians get in it for money.
So, I mean, when it comes to this in particular, right, let's just keep it specific to the war in Iran. And, of course, I can go beyond the war in Iran. Andy, thank you for the $4.99 super chat. Happy Friday, FDT. Donald Trump says this is a short-term investment for our children's future to make sure that Iran does not possess a nuclear weapon. This is the primary sticking point in the current negotiations. Do you believe that to be true?
No, not at all.
Okay, so do you have information otherwise? Are you privy to something the president is trying to do strategically?
I just see what the outcome is. I'm seeing what's happening.
In terms of what? Nothing's happening in Iran. We're still in a pretty difficult situation here.
I'm seeing the maps of all of the ships coming to port.
China's tankers are still passing through the Strait of Hormuz.
Okay,
even with the blockade they were passing through.
Okay, how is this cognitive decline?
So I think there's a pattern that indicates cognitive decline, right? So, like, for instance, when it comes to this picture, and of course we can elaborate beyond this picture, but let's start with the picture. Donald Trump comes out, instead of admitting, hey, I thought that, it was funny or it was a meme or whatever you're trying to claim it was. He says, I was trying to depict myself as a Red Cross doctor. I don't think a normal person not only claims that, but also thinks that that's going to fly with the American people or with the evangelical base that propped him up, right? This is the evangelical Christian are the people who put him on the pedestal. So for him to then disrespect them by claiming he thought that he was depicting himself as a Red Cross doctor means one of two things. He doesn't give a shit what they think, or he's completely losing it. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt and say I think he's completely losing it.
Did you vote for Biden by chance?
Biden didn't run. It was Kamala Harris. And yes.
You voted for Biden.
Kamala Harris, yes.
You voted for Harris as well.
Mm-hmm.
And you. What about when Biden ran? Did you vote for him?
Yes.
And you saw no sort of cognitive issues with a man that can't walk upstairs, with a man that is portraying blatant pedophilic behavior on camera.
You're
on
kidding.
Just several accounts.
There's no way you're bringing that up when it comes to there's no way, Patrick.
Yeah, there is.
Patrick.
Yes, because it's been proven that Trump was the original whistleblower on
That's
Epstein.
not true, Patrick.
Why didn't the Democrats the past few
Patrick,
presidencies?
that's not true.
have
What you just said is
anything-
not true.
Why
Patrick, what
didn't-
you just said is not true.
What,
let me
the
ask you a
imagery-
question. Let me ask you a
the
question. If that's
imagery?
true, watch.
Yeah.
I'll disprove it right now,
Yeah.
guys. Right? I'll disprove it right
What,
now.
the footage that we've all seen on camera of Biden whispering in little girls' ears, sucking on babies' feet. He whispered in little girls' ears, "Don't date seriously until you're in your 30s."
And Trump said, to 10-year-old girls, "I'll be dating you in 10 years." I'd rather an adult say, "Don't date until you're in your 30s," or rather than "I'll be dating you in 10 years." You never saw that? All right, hold on. Let me play Let me play it real quick for the chat, just so they can hear it. Okay.
Yeah.
And you yourself can listen to it. I'll put you on hold. Pull the live stream up, and you'll listen to it. Okay. I'm going to put you on hold. You're going to be able to listen to it.
I do want to see.
Sure.
I genuinely do want to.
Pull the live stream up. I'm putting you on hold right now. Pull the live stream up and listen to it.
Okay, give me just a second.
Yeah.
Give me just a second.
Okay, you start and I'm ready.
In the wake of questions and allegations about Donald Trump's behavior towards women, ET discovered this footage in our archive, which we provided to CBS News.
Soon. Thursday night. You're going up the escalator? I'm going to be dating her in 10 years. Can you believe it?
Let's play it one more time.
Women, ET discovered this footage in our archive, which we provided to CBS News.
Soon. Thursday night. You're going up the escalator? I'm going to be dating her in 10 years. Can you believe it?
That was 1992. So I just think, and we'll bring this guest back in here, when you say things like, well, President Biden shouldn't have said to a child, "Don't date until you're in your 30s." I'd rather have adults say, "Don't date until you're in your 30s," rather than "I'm going to be dating you in 10 years" to a 10-year-old. But besides the fact, right, I can simplify this conversation by asking Patrick just one question. Why is the Department of Justice actively obstructing justice if Donald Trump is innocent? Patrick, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Did you hear it? Here, Victoria, we'll do you the favor, okay? Goodbye, Victoria. Did you get it, Patrick, or no?
No, I'm just hearing the replay of when I first called in.
Well, it's there. Donald Trump says, "I'm going to be dating her in 10 years." And the little girls giggle.
I didn't see it.
Guys, by the way, I'd
But
appreciate...
I'm going to look it up.
Guys,
I am going to look it up, and I appreciate you sharing that with me because I really do genuinely want to see it.
I think it's important. Guys, I'd appreciate contributing to the gifting goal. If you guys do enjoy the content, I would appreciate making sure you hit the subscribe button so you don't miss future lives. So Donald Trump did, in fact, say that. It's really not up for interpretation. Actually surprised you never heard of this before. But beyond that, Patrick, can you answer a question for me? Why is the Department of Justice actively obstructing justice to prevent the American people from obtaining information in the Epstein files about Donald Trump?
I have a theory on that.
Mm-hmm.
But before I answer it, I want to ask, why did the past few Democrat, presidencies, why didn't they even mention the files? And now they want it all out. Why didn't they
wasn't the
mention
past
it ever?
few? Well, it wasn't the past few. So Donald Trump was president before Joe Biden. Joe Biden served one term. That would be the term you'd be able to. Well, he wasn't arrested for the first time until when?
This was all well-known information.
Again,
why didn't they bring it out?
Most of what is contained in the Epstein files after his latest arrest.
What about the first arrest? I mean, this has been common knowledge. for years, brother.
Sure, for certain people it was, and for certain people it wasn't. But what I'm trying to explain to you is, right, you made a claim that Donald Trump was the person that blew this open by informing the FBI that Jeffrey Epstein was a pedo. Can I just ask you, when was Jeffrey Epstein first arrested, and when was he first banned from Mar-a-Lago?
Well, let me answer your first question first. You asked, why do I believe that all of the information...
Answer the question I just asked you.
Okay. No, I'm going to answer your first one first. Why has it not all been put out there by this administration, all of the files and information? If I'm going to be perfectly honest, and we all know that everything that happens in politics is not exactly legal, I believe that this administration is holding on to that information in order to blackmail the blackmailers. That's what I believe. I don't have any proof of it, but it's just my theory.
Well, I mean, theories aren't, I mean, if it's not based on anything, it doesn't really matter. So this is a very important question, right? Because it debunks what you just claimed before.
Uh-huh.
Donald Trump, you said, blew this open by informing the FBI that Jeffrey Epstein was a pedo, right? And he was the first person to rat him out to the FBI. This is actually a Republican talking point that's not true. When was Jeffrey Epstein first arrested?
I don't know what year, to be honest. I don't know.
2006. When was Epstein banned from Mar-a-Lago?
I don't know either.
Well,
I don't know the year.
It was after 2006. He wasn't. So Donald Trump himself claimed that Jeffrey Epstein wasn't banned from Mar-a-Lago until 2007. So if he was the guy who blew that case open and informed the FBI that he was a pedophile, then why was he allowing him to frequent his establishment? Gumball Dolphins, thank you for the $4.99 super chat. Appreciate you so much. Guys, don't just enjoy the content, would appreciate supporting the content as well by contributing to the gifting goal, but also becoming a member of the channel. Go ahead, Patrick. Can you address that, please?
Well, I don't agree with everything that from this presidency. I did, there's a lot of shit I disagree with, but and I oppose. But lesser of two evils. I believe that Donald Trump is by far a much better president than anybody in my lifetime.
It's not relevant to the question. Look, Patrick, here's the problem, right? When you make claims like Donald Trump blew the case open by informing the FBI, he was the guy who informed the FBI, I have a problem with that, right? Because that's just not true, right? And the facts don't support that, and Donald Trump's narrative doesn't support that. Donald Trump claimed that he banned him in 2007. If he was arrested in 2006, that means he was frequenting his establishment after he was already arrested for a sex offense involving minors, which means Donald Trump wasn't the person who ratted him out. What actually happened was Donald Trump was contacted during the course of an investigation because he was close friends with Jeffrey Epstein. I believe he cooperated with that investigation according to the people investigating that case, but that does not mean he was the person that ratted Epstein out, right? That's just not true. What happened was victims went to the police and said, this guy sexually assaulted me. And that's an entirely different circumstance than Donald Trump was the person who had this moral character and decided to contact the Federal Bureau of Investigation.
Okay. I can't be, I can't argue that because I'm not, educated as much as you are on that that particular
I mean, you could just
topic.
look it up. You could just look up when was Epstein first arrested, and then look up when did Donald Trump claim he banned Epstein from Mar-a-Lago. I'm not even sure Donald Trump himself claims that he was the person who ratted him out. Regardless, he doesn't want to talk much about it. So the question becomes, right, why is the Department of Justice actively, knowingly obstructing justice to prevent the release of those files if Donald Trump is innocent?
Again, I think that they have information on so many people that they're holding it over their heads. That's why I think. You ask why I think that is, and that's why I believe it is. but at the same also,
and that probably
even if
occurred.
that
That probably occurred. But the question is, wouldn't transparency then be the best solution for that? You wouldn't withhold that information. If people are using information to blackmail people behind the scenes, the answer would be to take away their power. How do you take away a blackmailer's power? You release that information to the public. The information's not powerful if people have that information, right? And so the question becomes, why is Donald Trump's? Do you know who the deputy? Do you know who the acting attorney? Hold on. Do you know who the acting? Do you know who the acting attorney general is? Was the deputy attorney general, but then took over the position when Pam Bondi was fired?
No, I'm not. I don't know. No.
So that is Todd Blanche. Todd Blanche.
Oh, yeah,
are you familiar with who that is?
I know the name.
It's Donald Trump's personal attorney, Patrick. Donald Trump's personal attorney is the guy who was actively in charge of the Department of Justice and really was in charge of the Department of Justice even as the deputy attorney general. He's in there. I called this a conflict of interest from the beginning. Why is his personal attorney in the Department of Justice? To protect him.
Okay.
Yep.
Where does the cognitive decline come into play with all this?
Okay, so I started with the fact that I don't think people who are cognitively present, people who are not in cognitive decline, would claim that they're trying to portray themselves as a Red Cross doctor in a picture that's clearly...
It's all over about a meme, is why he's in cognitive decline, because he didn't tell the truth.
Patrick, it's blasphemy.
What does this have to do with... It may be blasphemous, it may be, but blasphemy isn't representative of cognitive decline.
The decision to post a blasphemous picture when your voter base is made up of evangelical Christians indicates cognitive decline. Yes, it would be like Joe Biden posting something that's insulting to liberals, right? Let's just change the context for a second. Let's pretend that.
How about another example of his cognitive decline?
Sure, okay, I can give you 50 million things he said that are absolutely insane.
How about one?
Okay, how about the invasion of Iran? What the fuck? How about the invasion of Iran, just to start with? That absolutely proves cognitive decline. When you look at the primary objectives of the conflict, you conducted a military operation in the summer of 2025, claimed that operation was a success after you tore up a diplomatic agreement, claiming you could negotiate a better agreement, and then said that military operation was a success, and then added it to the primary objective in a military invasion just months later. Does that make any sense to you? How about all of the ridiculous things he says on a daily basis? Does that indicate cognitive decline?
Not at all. Okay, Not at all, man.
How about falling asleep every single time he has a cabinet meeting?
Where's that? I'm sorry. I need to see those videos as well.
Well, listen, then look them up. If you don't pay this close attention, that's on you, not me. He literally falls asleep every time he's in public.
Oh, yeah, every time he's in public.
Yes.
He falls asleep every time.
Ask my chat. Let's ask the chat right now. Let's ask the chat right now. Chat. Does Donald Trump fall asleep almost every single cabinet meeting he has? Does Donald Trump fall asleep every single cabinet meeting he has?
I'm not going to argue with the...
Well, because you're not... Just because you don't know something, Pedrick, doesn't mean that it's not true.
Every single time he's in public, he falls asleep 100% of the time.
Pretty much, Patrick, yes.
That's ridiculous.
Pretty much, Patrick, unfortunately.
Pretty much is not 100%, my friend.
Patrick, did you see the last cabinet meeting when he was literally leaning off camera?
I do think that makes it 100% of the time, but genuinely, I do want to thank you for answering my call and having me on your show. Mm-hmm. Sincerely, I really do appreciate it, but I really do got to jump off of here.
All righty, we'll talk again.
Thank you, brother.
Yep, take care. Every single cabinet meeting Donald Trump has had. I'm not exaggerating. I'm not trying to be disingenuous and make things up to prove a point. Every single cabinet meeting he has, he falls asleep. It's a fact. If you are a Trump supporter and you support Trump, call in 908-652-3703. Try your luck. Tell me why you think Donald Trump is still capable of being president of the United States. It's crazy that there's people that still think that. I mean, I thought it was obvious at this point. Evidence of cognitive decline. I don't know. Every time he opens his mouth, every time he speaks, I think depicting yourself as Jesus is the greatest evidence I could possibly find. Donald Trump is speaking right now at Turning Point USA's Build the Wall event in Phoenix, Arizona. Let's check in right now and see what he's saying currently. Maybe there's evidence of cognitive decline. We're waiting for the next caller. You can call in if you are a Republican and you'd like to debate. Let's just check in at what's happening at this Turning Point USA event real quick.
They went out, they got jobs in the private sector because we have the most people working than we've ever had before, and they're making more money and enjoying their job. It's sort of an amazing phenomenon. After decades of other countries stealing our jobs and plundering our wealth, thanks to our strong policy on tariffs, we cut our gaping trade deficit. Now, if you do 1%, you're considered like a genius. If you do 2 or 3%, it's unheard of. We cut it by 59% this year, our trade gap. It's the largest drop.
All right, let's move to the next caller. We have two people
Call
calling
from
in here.
Jimmy John.
Jimmy John, are you a Trump supporter?
Yeah, I am.
Okay, and hold on one second.
Call from
Are you a Trump supporter? Okay, so let's move to Jimmy John. Jimmy John, go ahead.
Yeah, I am.
Okay, and Jimmy John, really quick to get a surface level understanding of what kind of Trump supporter you are, do you think it's concerning that Donald Trump is trying to depict himself as Jesus? Rev Robbins, thank you for the $2 super chat.
So
Says
people are
BB
speaking.
has dirt on everyone in Washington, apparently. That seems to be the case. Our government is controlled by Israel. Lady Rage 13, thank you for the $4.99 super chat. Said, let's hit the super chat goal, everyone. Thank you so much, Lady Rage. Appreciate you supporting the content. Guys, make sure you hit the subscribe button and send a super chat. Go ahead, dude.
Honestly, I feel like I'm like a mixed Trump supporter. There's a few things that are good with him. There's a few things that are bad. I personally don't support the Trump post. If you've seen that one, you know, the Jesus post that he's been posting lately.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, right? I think that indicates, because I'm not so much concerned with the blasphemy aspect of this, but I think that it indicates this guy shouldn't be president based off his cognitive ability. I don't think someone who makes that post should be president of the United States. Clearly, there's something that's not right with him if he thinks he's Jesus.
I mean, if we really think about the aspect of this, let's be honest with ourselves. People have made posts about that and have shown cognitive awareness, if that makes sense. We can't really go based off that. If you have other evidence, I could also talk about that. But
yeah, I mean, I could give you other stuff, like, so you want me to give you like other evidence of like what I've witnessed as what I would consider like cognitive issues. So I think he struggles to get so I think he generally struggles to get through speeches. He tends to repeat himself. I think the first concern of mine would be he can't stay awake during cabinet meetings. He tends to slouch to the right. His mouth looks like it's drooping. He appears to fall asleep when he's not speaking. This happens on a regular basis. I think he's made rash impulse decisions, like the war in Iran, for instance, makes absolutely no sense. So I thought, well, let's start there.
yeah, personally speaking, about the war with Iran stuff and him slouching, I'll be honest, I cannot defend the slouching part. I don't get why he does that. But with the war with Iran, I'll be honest, it's nasty either way. But
Well, I mean,
it's
look,
like,
does it benefit the American taxpayer? I mean, I thought, Americans agreed that after the global war on terror, we were done supporting our government lying to us about weapons of mass destruction or nuclear weapons in this case to get us into these endless wars in the Middle East. I don't care if you support Trump. I think that, as Americans, we should come together and say, look, we're done in the Middle East, right? We're done with Israel dragging us into these endless conflicts. And so, I mean, Trump's decision to do this, I think, is a strong indicator that he's not capable of being president.
oh yeah, for sure. But I'll be honest with the part that you said about the the war. I'll be honest with you. The government has been lying to us like constantly. I'll be honest with you.
I mean, they
Especially
definitely
with
do.
yeah, for sure. Like, for example, if we go back to the Epstein files, because that seems to be getting pushed under the rug.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's been getting, I might as well say it, hidden recently. I mean, I've been seeing lots and lots of reduced stuff talking about it.
Well, why don't you tell me really quick? Give me I mean, you still support Trump, so I have to ask you the question. Why is the Department of Justice actively obstructing justice on the orders of Donald Trump to prevent the American people from obtaining that information and making a decision based on the information?
I'll be honest. It's my opinion. It's your choice if you want to believe it or not. Everyone deserves to have an opinion, This is the United States of America, after all. I mean, we didn't fight the British to take this place. But honestly, I just feel like it's the power he has, and just the power he has with, how people, or most people, respect him.
What's your first name? What is your first name?
Jimmy John Javish.
I mean, it's not, but we'll pretend. Jimmy, if I have a folder that contains 40 documents, and I say I'm going to show my chat this folder, and it's going to prove that you are a PDF file, would you do everything you can to prevent me from releasing the information in that folder, or would you say show that folder because you're confident you're not or you haven't engaged in that category of crime?
I mean, it depends. Oh, we talk about if this is a hypothetical situation.
It doesn't depend. If you weren't engaging in that category of crime, you wouldn't be concerned with what's in the folder, right? The reason they're obstructing justice is because he's engaged in that category of crime. It doesn't make any other sense otherwise.
And I'll be honest, I feel like this might be a brand accusation. I don't really have no proof on hand, but I feel like some of them are also inside the Epstein files.
There's plenty of people in there.
It that much.
But what's Trump's motive for instructing his personal attorney, who's now the acting attorney general, to not release that information to the general public, who's demanding it after a law was passed by their elected representatives with an overwhelming supermajority?
I got no clue, man. I mean,
there you go, Jimmy. We got to figure that out. Thanks for calling in. You got to critically analyze that, Jimmy. Thank you for calling in. Appreciate it. Yep, take care. You got to start critically analyzing why that is the case, Jimmy. Doesn't make any other sense otherwise. You understand? Does not make any other sense otherwise. Let's check in. Donald Trump is delivering remarks right now at Turning Point USA's Build the Red Wall event in Phoenix, Arizona, and apparently has made some very concerning statements regarding the midterms. We're going to check in there quick. If you are a Trump supporter, call in now. Would appreciate hearing your take. We'll listen in the meantime.
Healthy again. We will make America.
Hey, wait. I need you to show me.
Sorry, we got a quick commercial here.
We will make America safe again. And we will make America great again. Thank you very much, Arizona. Thank you. Thank you.
So it came to the end. We're just going to back up a little bit.
The king of Saudi Arabia told me when I was in Saudi Arabia, they invested $2 trillion in our country. But he looked at me, he said, you know, Mr. President, a short time ago, we viewed the United States as a dead country. We thought it was dead. And now you have the hottest country anywhere in the world. And he's right, the hottest country anywhere in the world.
Sorry, let me say it the right way, everyone. It's T-Pussa. I call it T-Pussa, not Turning Point USA, but T-Pussa. You know how it goes. I think Trump supporters are mostly embarrassed by their support of Donald Trump. I think it's very difficult at this point to support Donald Trump. I think they recognize they made a drastic error in supporting him to begin with. And look, what's a worse night to be embarrassed? Friday night. If you do enjoy the Friday night streams, contribute. Become a member of the channel. Support with a super chat. Don't just watch the content, support the content. Are you a Trump supporter?
Trump is super cool, and you love gay black men.
Are you a Trump supporter? Goofy? Yes, are you a Trump supporter?
6'7".
Oh my God. Dude, I can't escape the 6'7" stuff. Like, my child says 6'7", and I have little kids on here saying 6'7". Almost every prank call I get, at least 40% of them, is 6'7" from a little kid. All right, let's read some comments here. Mel, stop projecting. All right, stop projecting. We all know that's what you actually are. That's why you're scared to call in. Let's listen to MF Ty here. As a Republican, Trump has failed us, and now he continues to talk out of his ass. Would agree with you.
Call from Trump is a bad.
Would agree with you, dude.
Call from
Juan.
What's up? Are you a Trump supporter?
I'm as much of a Trump supporter as a logical person can be.
Did you vote for him?
This last election.
Did you vote for him in the elections before that?
Not in. I did not vote in 2016.
Okay.
And I can't remember if I voted in 2020 or not.
Okay. So,
but in general, for the terms of the discussion we're about to have, you can call me a Trump supporter.
No, if I'm calling you a Trump supporter for the terms of this discussion, that means you are a Trump supporter. And somebody who's not a Trump supporter would never call in and defend him. Just quick, do you think that it's problematic, Donald Trump depicting himself as Jesus?
Do I disagree with it? Yes. Do I see it as, any worse than, the Biden White House having Trans Visibility Day on Easter? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But I want to talk to you about. I want to talk to you. No. We're not going to get into your little.
Wait. Do you think
stuff.
you run?
I want to get into.
What'd you say? We're not going to get into.
Enough to have that conversation.
Excuse me. Do you think you
are
tell
you intelligent
me?
Enough to talk about?
Shut the fuck. You think you tell me what to do now? No. We're not going to get into that. What do you think? You tell me what to do? You don't let me address what you just said? What the fuck? The audacity of these guys. The audacity, dude. No, we're not. We're not going to do what you say to do. We're going to do what I say to do.
Yeah.
Yes, are you a Trump supporter?
It's the same guy. I'll be more civil.
Listen,
this time. How about
no,
that? I'll let
you call me daddy, and then maybe I'll consider it.
Oh, daddy, I will.
Call from
Bob.
I just wanted you to call me daddy so I can move on. Are you a Trump supporter? Listen, here's the thing, dude. You don't ever tell me what to do. Call me daddy again.
Would you like to have a discussion?
Call me daddy again, and I'll do it.
Let's have a discussion, daddy.
Have a good day. Bro, listen, you don't ever in a million years not let me you don't get to sneak things in and not let me respond. Okay? Let's be clear.
Call from.
Daddy.
Call from.
What's up, dude? Are you a Trump supporter?
Yeah, I am.
All right, man. So do you you actively still support Donald Trump?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Do you support the war in Iran?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Why?
A lot of different reasons.
Break it down.
Pursuing a nuclear weapon, number one. Number two, they're the leading country in the world that's supporting terrorism.
Awesome.
Around the world.
Okay, so two objectives. There is four according to the administration, but let's break this down. So the first one is obtaining nuclear weapons through weapons-grade enriched uranium. Let's establish a couple things first. You do know Iran does not have the missile technology to reach the United States, regardless of whether or not they were able to develop a nuclear weapon, right?
It wouldn't have taken them long to get that technology.
Then why don't they
Russia
have it?
They've had
years.
Russia would have sold it to them.
What? That's not true.
How do you know they don't have it now?
Because they don't.
How do you know
they
that?
don't. How do you know they do? It's not my burden to
It's
establish.
the
If
same-
you're
it's the
if establishing
same
a
question thrown back at you.
it's not though, right? So it's your burden,
Yeah,
right?
okay.
If you support conducting decapitation strikes on a country, you need to establish that there's a hostility defense for doing so. So let's break this down. What is Operation Midnight Hammer? Are you familiar?
Yeah.
Okay, what was it?
With the first round that we went in there and bombed their facilities.
Not the
Their
first
nuclear
round.
sites.
Not the first round. The goal was to destroy their enrichment facilities to make sure that they could not develop nuclear weapons through weapons-grade enriched uranium. What did Donald Trump say was the success of that operation?
Well, come to find, look, I understand where you're going with it. But come to
don't
find
understand
out,
where
I
I'm
don't
going.
think-
It's for
I
the
don't think it did. I don't think it did.
Okay.
I don't think it did destroy their enhanced uranium. They moved it somewhere, and they had videos of that as well.
Well, no, there was. It's not that they had videos. It's that there was satellite imagery released of trucks outside their enrichment facilities because Donald Trump gave them advanced knowledge that we were going to bomb these facilities. And then the administration largely thought that was propaganda. Brighton Oak, Y8D, with the 10 gifted memberships. W. Brighton in the chat. A shitload of you just got gifted memberships. W. friggin' Brighton in the chat. Big W Brighton supporting the content. Guys, let's complete this friggin' gifting goal. And Brighton W, guys, thank you to Brighton. You just got a bunch of free memberships there. So, what were we saying here? So there was satellite imagery released of, or drone footage released of trucks outside their enrichment facilities. By the way, I think it's funny that Donald Trump claims he cares about operational security and that he doesn't want to tell the media about military operations he's about to conduct, and then gives Iran advanced knowledge that he's about to drop bunker busters on their facilities. I found that kind of ironic, but regardless, Donald Trump said that wasn't true, right? He said that these operations were a success, that we destroyed these facilities, that we delayed their ability to develop nuclear weapons. And so I can only go by what the president says, right? Unless you have some kind of intelligence I'm not aware of.
Well, to rebuke what you just said, Iran, between the last, 4 presidents that we've had, they talked a good talk, but they never pursued any of their ambitions. Donald Trump is not like that, and they weren't prepared for it. He's playing a good hand of poker with them. So they didn't know what was coming. And then it happened.
Here's the problem I have with that, right? Israel and their prime minister has been trying to convince the United States to do this for decades. Israel has been perpetuating the idea that Iran was weeks away from weapons-grade enriched uranium and the development of nuclear weapons for a long time. I'm not seeing any evidence that substantiates that that's changed in the last 3 to 4 decades. So I can only conclude that Donald Trump was just in a more vulnerable position and took the bait, unlike previous presidents, because they were pressured the same way. They just didn't fall for it, right? But I would say furthermore, Donald Trump was the person that tore up the diplomatic agreement in place in the JCPOA, claimed that he could negotiate a better agreement, couldn't negotiate that agreement, opted for military action, claimed that military action was a success, and then didn't clarify that they didn't bomb facilities necessary to the production of weapons-grade enriched uranium, and then said it was a primary objective just months later in an invasion of a sovereign nation. So that's where I have a problem, right? So you could argue that, well, maybe he's not being clear with the general public and there's information we don't know. Well, then I would cite the House Intel Committee hearing, but then I would have to cite what our intelligence agencies are saying, right? People like Tulsi Gabbard, who could not establish there was an imminent threat within a 90-day period. Kathy Smith, thank you for the $2 super chat. Let's freaking go. Neely with the $5 super chat. MAGA never knows words. Agree 100%. Go ahead, dude.
Well, I'd rather the war be over there than over here. That's the bottom line. And this is to prevent that. And now we don't have to worry about it. It's in the past. You haven't read the news that Iran is opening up the strait to let boats through?
Yeah,
next thing you know, there's going to be peace.
Hold on.
Okay?
Well, let's not jump the gun. Why are they doing that? Let's break this down. Was that a victory for Donald Trump, or was that a victory for Iran?
Probably one of the smartest strategies ever in history.
For Iran. For Iran.
No, for us.
No.
I'll
explain why it's
not. Absolutely.
Okay, I'll explain it.
Go ahead.
All right, sure. So, first of all, Lee's 7680, thank you for the $5 super chat. Appreciate you, Lee's. Laura Shock 1163. Trump doesn't know how to play poker. He bankrupted 6 casinos. No negotiation prowess either. I agree. Laura 100%. So I'll break this down. The United States claims that Lebanon is not a part of a ceasefire negotiation with Iran, right? Iran claims that it is. They claim we don't want Israel because Israel launched their largest coordinated attacks after they signed the ceasefire, right? What's her name? The press secretary.
Incorrect.
What's
You're incorrect.
What am I incorrect on?
Okay, first of all, you got it backwards, buddy.
I don't have it backwards.
Okay, look, admit that you're an anti-Semite because this is the rhetoric that anti-Semites come up with. Okay? You're a piece of
Oh,
shit.
my God. Why does Zionists constantly call me an anti-Semite?
Because
Israel
you
launched their... I'm not an anti-Semite.
Hezbollah shot missiles in Israel territory.
Okay, what is an anti-Semite? Tell me what do you want them to do? Tell me what an anti-Semite is.
Oh, I don't know what it is. Why don't you look
So
it
then
up
why did you
and
call
tell
me an anti-Semite? Because you're a Zionist.
You know what you are.
You're a Zionist. What is a Semite?
Look, I don't need to go with you into semantics with you. Okay?
It's not semantics. You don't know the fucking definition. It is a tactic of people who support the Israeli government to weaponize the hatred of Jewish people against people who are critically of their government. I don't hate Jewish people, you jerk off. John, thank you so much.
Sounds like it does.
John, thank you so much. Appreciate you, John. This guy says, I hate Jewish people because I simply said that Israel launched their largest attack on Lebanon after the ceasefire was signed since the beginning of the war, which is true. Not true. Not true. Not true.
Yeah,
Hey, by the way, so let me play something for you really quick. Lee's 7680.
I was
Thank you so much,
live
Lee's.
footage when it happened.
Okay, so watch. I'm going to play a clip for you, okay? I want you to watch my live stream. I'm going to play a clip of the Secretary of State for you because we're talking about a hostility defense in weapons-grade enriched uranium and therefore the development of nuclear weapons. Let me play a clip for you from the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, claiming what the imminent threat was. Ready? I'm going to put you on hold. You got to pull my live stream up, turn it on, listen, and you'll play it, and then I'll bring you back, okay? I'm going to put you on hold. I'm not hanging up.
Go ahead.
Okay. Oh man, I get called an anti-Semite so much, and I'd never say anything anti-Semitic, nothing. But I just want people to know, like, when you support Zionism or you support the Netanyahu agenda or the AIPAC agenda, I want you to understand we don't fall for it. It does not work. Calling someone anti-Semitic, weaponizing the hatred of Jewish people against people who are being legitimately critical of their government does not work. I don't shy away because you say anti-Semitic. It does not work on me. Let's play the Secretary of State. This guy is saying that Iran was the imminent threat. So I'm going to play.
But TikTok clearly doesn't want.
I'm going to play. What Marco Rubio has to say about that.
The United States is conducting an operation to eliminate the threat focused on doing right now and respond against the United States in the South and in their casual. Inflict so much damage, 100 of these missiles a month. Attack drones that they imagine a year from now.
I don't know why this doesn't come up on here when I show up my browser. It's so fucking weird. When I try and pull this clip up in my browser, it just doesn't.
The President made the very wise decision. We knew that there was going to be an Israeli action. We knew that that would precipitate an attack against American forces. And we knew that if we didn't preemptively go after them before they launched those attacks, we would suffer higher casualties and perhaps even higher those killed. And
let's take a listen again, please.
There was going to be an Israeli action. Wise decision. We knew that there was going to be an Israeli action. We knew that that would precipitate an attack against American forces. And we knew that if we didn't preemptively go after them before they launched those attacks, we would suffer higher casualties and perhaps even higher those killed. And then.
All right, let's bring that guy back. Let's see what he has to say. We'll give you a second to catch up and listen to what the Secretary of State.
I didn't hear a word of it.
So the Secretary of State, I'll explain to you. So the Secretary of State is who? Do you
Take
know?
your word for it.
Do you know who the Secretary of State is?
Yeah, Marco Rubio. Yeah.
Okay. Guys,
go ahead.
Listen, you don't need to be so
Well,
mad.
you're trying to know what you do. Don't try to insult my intelligence the way you act.
How am I insulting your intelligence?
Because that's what you do. That's what all you guys do that are hosts.
What did I do to insult your intelligence?
Asking me who the Secretary of State is.
Well, a lot of people don't know. I thought it was relevant that you understood because Marco has probably the most credibility out of anyone in the administration.
We established that. Continue.
Listen, sweetheart.
Yeah.
Calm down. So Marco Rubio says that we knew there was going to be an Israeli action, right? And we knew that would precipitate strikes against U.S. military bases. And so we launched preemptive strikes to prevent that from happening. If Israel was planning attacks against Iran, does that eliminate Iran as the imminent threat?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Whatever.
I appreciate you conceding. Listen, I appreciate you conceding.
Hezbollah is supported.
I know.
Hezbollah.
There's no way out of this now. You've already conceded. You've already conceded.
So you take it with a grain of salt that Iran chants death to America in many speeches.
No,
you don't believe it.
No, I didn't say that.
Think it's for fun?
No, they absolutely said it. What I argue though is that the
Okay.
United States need not be involved. I think that death to America and chants like death to America largely come from the strikes that we've conducted in the Middle East.
Do
the
you
hatred
understand
that
what
these countries in the Middle East have for the United States?
You understand what the
I think that
Islamic
Iran does
Republic
not-
goal is?
Iran does
Do you
not have
understand what the Islamic
weaponry,
Republic goal
the
is?
missile technology, the weapons grade enriched uranium to reach or hurt the United States or the people in the United States. And I think it hurts the American taxpayer more than helps the American taxpayer for us to be involved in these nonsensical wars in the Middle East. I care about our brave servicemen and women. I don't want American
do as
citizens.
well.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
Oh,
Did you
sure I
serve?
do.
Did
Absolutely
you serve?
I do.
Did you serve?
No, I did not. No.
So you're okay with my
Regretfully.
fellow Americans going and dying in the Middle East, and
Did
you didn't
you
even
serve?
fucking serve?
Did you serve?
No, I'm against war, you fucking chicken hawk, Zionist cuck.
Hey,
all right?
dumbass.
I
You
don't
didn't
want
serve either,
Americans
so
to
shut the
die
fuck
in the
up.
Middle East, you Zionist
No,
pig.
man. See-
What don't you understand? I'm anti-war. I don't want Americans to die in war. I want the United States to stop getting involved in these senseless conflicts. I want the U.S. government to start focusing on helping my fellow Americans who can't pay for groceries, who can't pay for medicine, who have to take out GoFundMes on social media, on Facebook, so they can get their fucking insulin. That's what I'm pissed off about. And I'm tired of these senseless wars in the Middle East that cost us our blood and our money. You know who pays for this war? The American fucking taxpayer. That's who pays for it. That's the person who gets screwed every fucking time.
Voicemail, press 2.
Yes, are you a Trump supporter?
I sure am.
Did you call before?
Got a quick question.
That's the daddy guy. Yes, are you a Trump supporter? Yes, are you a Trump supporter?
No, I was just going to say, good job, though. Good job, dude.
Appreciate you, bro. Take care. Unfortunately, we got a lot of people. Listen, guys, they want you to die for their country. That's all this comes down to. I don't want you to die for their country. You should not be dying for them. You understand? You should not be dying for them. Under any circumstances. They should be concerned with your health, your wealth, whether or not you can pay for insulin, whether or not you can pay for your medication, whether or not you can afford your groceries. They have complete control over our government. Complete control. There are limited circumstances that American citizens should be dying in war.
Call from.
Yes, are you a Trump supporter?
For sure.
For show, did you just say? All right, why do you support Trump? Yeah, I'm just going to hang up on you. For show. If you are a Trump supporter, you can call in 908-652-3703. I would say the Zionist propaganda gets old for sure. Right. I would say the Zionist propaganda gets old for sure. By the way, if you go to my TikTok, everybody, I just posted a story about the 7 Democrats who voted yes to send more bulldozers to Israel. More bulldozers to Israel, folks. Chuck Schumer and John Fetterman among that list. 978, you just called. I don't know what happened. You got disconnected, so you can call back 978. Scott Potter said Trump is the best president ever. You need a fucking history lesson desperately, dude.
Call from.
Dean Cain.
Dean Cain, what's going on? Are you a Trump supporter?
Yeah, you know that.
I don't. Well, how would I know that, Dean?
Well, I'm calling because I'm here.
Okay. So what's up, Dean? Real quick, just to get a surface level understanding of what type of Trump supporter
I just came to ask you a question real quick.
That's nice. But, Dean, just so I can get a surface level understanding of what type of Trump supporter you are, do you condemn the blasphemous post Trump made on Truth Social depicting himself as Jesus?
I don't really like that, but I just got a question to ask you.
I'm sure it's profound. Go ahead, Dean.
All right, so are you upset because Trump took off all transsexuals from the army? That's what you like.
Stupid question, as usual. I was expecting something stupid, Dean, and you didn't disappoint. I was expecting something stupid, Dean, and you didn't disappoint, surprisingly. You didn't disappoint. So, how's everyone doing in the chat? Guys, I would appreciate completing the gifting. Oh, the goal ended and we didn't complete it. So let me just put a quick goal out here. I wasn't going to go live tonight. W's, if you're happy I went live tonight on Friday night. I was actually going to take tonight off YouTube, but I decided to come on. 941, what's going on? Are you a Trump supporter?
Yeah.
Okay. Why are you saying yeah like I called you? You called me. What's up? Do you support Trump?
Yeah, I'm watching a stream right now. Am I talking to the same person?
Yes, you are. This is a screening. So my name's Bill. I'm about to pass you on to Adam. How big of a Trump supporter are you?
I love all the bombs he's doing. I love all the shit he's doing.
All right, perfect. We're going to pass you on to Adam real quick. Hold on. Yeah, you're on the stream, dude. What's your first name, and are you a Trump supporter?
Tim, hell yeah, I'm a Trump supporter. Listen, it's awesome. He does, he does wild shit. It ain't always right, but he does it. And that's what's great.
Okay, perfect. What's your first name?
Tim.
Okay, Tim, really quick to get a surface level understanding of what kind of a Trump supporter you are. Do you think it was blasphemous that Donald Trump posted a picture depicting himself as Jesus? Just curious.
The world is blasphemous right now, so to get upset about that is kind of stupid and redundant, so it's a waste of time.
What? The world is What is blasphemy?
I mean, there's that shit all around. We're going to get upset about a picture?
That's not what blasphemy is. Blasphemy isn't just bad shit. Blasphemy is specific
it's
things.
God and all that, yeah.
Well, no, it's saying things God didn't say. Mocking Jesus, right? That's blasphemy. So, I mean, are you a Christian?
Well, no, but this is about politics, not God, so are we talking politics or God here?
Well, I mean, I just think that the evangelical base that put him on a pedestal would care that he is depicting himself as Jesus. It's funny because had Obama done that, had Biden done that, I think you guys would have lost your minds. Tina 5150 says, thank you for being on for us this evening. Love you too, Tina. Thank you so much for the support. Thank you for just not watching the content but also supporting the content. It really matters, Tina. And by the way, guys, if you I would appreciate making sure you hit the subscribe button so that way you don't miss future lives, right? And make sure you hit the notification bell. Subscribing is free. Over on the left side there, or up top, I think, if you're on mobile. So go ahead. You want to respond to that?
Yeah, I was just letting you do your thing. Well, yeah, it's politics, though, and I wouldn't be offended if anyone else did it. It doesn't matter. Like, politics is the most unholy place around, so I don't really take that into consideration. There's corruption everywhere, but at least he's doing something about it and trying to help the American people and not pushing I'm sure he's doing his own thing, but hey, he's affecting us and fighting for us and fighting for America. What more can you ask for? A fucking patriot.
All right, so let's talk about corruption. You brought corruption up specifically. What is Donald Trump doing to stop corruption in our government?
Well, first things first, he's trying to get rid of all the illegals, which, if you're keeping up with anything, most of the fraud going around, at least that we're aware of and actually cracking down. I'm sure there's a bunch of other shit. I'm not stupid. But billions of dollars, most of it's through immigrants and legal immigrants and all that stuff. And, American people get caught in fraud all the time, citizens, but if you're not a citizen, you get away with it. It's kind of BS. So it's nice to see it get out of here. And, just do it the right way. Come into the country and wait. It's the best country in the world. You can wait.
All right, so I'm assuming you're referring to the Nick Shirley stuff, right? Because here's the problem. The data that we have shows that undocumented immigrants commit far less fraud and just crime, generally speaking, specifically violent crime per capita.
Well, that's because there's more American citizens.
Per capita.
Oh, you said per capita.
Right.
All right, gotcha.
Than U.S. citizens. So the idea that they're robbing us through fraud is not really supported by the numbers. And I can give you studies specifically from the Cato Institute. There was a analysis done that showed that
I'm not
out of the
questioning
benefits
anything you're
fraud.
saying.
Hold on, out of the benefits fraud convictions, it was mostly citizens. Non-citizens were about somewhere around 5%, 5 to 10%. Less likely to even be charged with any kind of fraudulent activity than a citizen. Non-citizens were much less likely per capita. So I can't say that undocumented immigrants are responsible for fraud, right? And that just crime in general, they commit very little of it. So,
I mean, if they weren't here, that would still be 10% less fraud in general, you know? So, hey. And, like, if you're for illegal immigration, are you?
So I am obviously for fixing a broken immigration system, but let's go over this, okay? Do you know how much undocumented immigrants contribute? The point I'm trying to make overall when you look at the numbers is that undocumented immigrants are a net positive on our economy generally, right? Overall, they're a net positive. How much would you predict they contribute to our tax revenue at a federal, state, and local level?
Probably like billions. 500 billion?
Well, it's less than that, but let's say 100 billion, okay? 100 billion at a federal, state, and local level. Can you give me some kind of fiscal consequence? Can you give me a study or an analysis that indicates undocumented immigrants are a net negative? Because every single study I've ever evaluated, I can
it's more the principle. You vet who comes in your country.
Principle's not enough to principle, because here's why. Let's break this down. You said principle. It's more about the principle, right? That you are undocumented and you're not doing it the right way. So let's break that down. Do you think that Donald Trump's deportation policies justify, do you think what's happened with Alex Preddy, Renee Good, the death of American citizens is worth it when you actually evaluate whether or not they're a net positive or a net negative? If undocumented immigrants are generally a positive contribution, right? They affect us positively, right? Economically and socially. Do you really think that we should, can you actually justify his deportation policies that have resulted in the death of American citizens, brutalizing entire communities like happened in Minnesota, taking the lives of American citizens like Alex Preddy, Renee Good, Ruben Ray Martinez, Keith Porter Jr.?
Are you asking me to justify deportation because the death of American citizens? What?
What I'm saying is that as a result of Donald Trump's deportation policies, we've seen severe consequences for American citizens. People have died, right? People have been executed. Alex Preddy was disarmed and executed in the street in Minnesota simply because he was protesting during these deportation operations. So what I'm saying to you is, can you justify these harsh deportation policies when you can't give me a negative consequence of the presence of undocumented
big whoop.
immigrants?
Actions have consequences, and to get things done, people suffer. That's how the world works. Nothing is done for free. There's always consequences. Someone always gets hurt, no matter what happens.
Are you listening to what I'm saying? Can you justify any of that when you consider the fact that they're overall a net positive, right? When they're a net positive, you can't really justify American citizens dying as a result of the policies to deport them. Wouldn't you agree?
I think the net positive is just a whole thing. You know, either way, they shouldn't be here. They ain't come illegally. And
what do you mean it's a whole thing? You have to justify consequences.
If we're going to go this route.
What are the consequences?
If we're going to go this route and talk,
Guy, what are the consequences of undocumented immigrants' presence in the country? No one disagrees.
Okay, why can't they get? Let me explain. CDL.
No one disagrees. By the way, there's someone spamming in chat that I'm AI. I am not AI. I'm a fucking human being. You're weird as fuck. But let me just explain this really quick, okay? No one disagrees that the immigration system is broken. I disagree it's broken. I was in Minnesota during the battle for Minneapolis. I watched ICE agents brutalize American citizens, beat American citizens, violate the constitutional rights of American citizens. And you may shrug your shoulders and say, oh, so what? Well, that's because you don't have any idea that if their rights are being violated, so are yours, right? You don't pick and choose whose rights we respect. If the federal government is violating the rights of American citizens in Minnesota who are protesting, guess what? You're losing your rights as well. So what I'm saying is, what justifies that? Is there a single consequence you can present me of the presence of undocumented immigrants that justifies the harsh deportation policies of this administration.
Okay, I can sum it up with one thing: the lack of control. We should be controlling the flow, and it's as simple as that. You can go net positive, net negative, whatever, but we need to control the flow because it's our country. We need to know who's here. It's as simple as that. And if we're going to backpedal onto some American citizens getting hurt and how we're abusing their rights, what about what we didn't do to the people that were throwing rocks at cops and everything like that when nothing even happened yet?
You mean,
so there's so many times it
during
could have been
January
worse.
6th?
Well, yeah, if we're just going to talk about everything.
I mean, do you condemn the actions of MAGA on January 6th who beat the crap out of police officers with objects like fire extinguishers and poles? I mean, suddenly now you care about police officers. And by the way, that didn't even happen in Minnesota. I can't even think of a single circumstance where an ICE agent was
this was
beaten.
in California.
Okay, well, I mean...
They were throwing rocks, and this wasn't even ICE agents. These were cop cars that they were throwing shit at. So,
listen,
honestly,
you're talking about that one
really
individual.
lenient.
You're talking about that one individual who threw a rock. Well, listen, dude. Out of an
But
entire
you're the one who
population of
started-
people protesting, out of an entire city of people, millions of people protesting against an unjust policies
Now
of this
you get what
administration.
I'm saying.
Someone's
So
dude. Someone's bound to throw a fucking rock. Stop making such a
That's
big deal.
what I was trying to say earlier. Someone's bound to die.
So
and
why
get hurt,
don't
but
you
wanna
fucking
talk
give me,
about-
Guy, when we talk about these policies, we're talking about the presence, the people that are here currently present. I'm saying I think it's far more productive when you consider their contributions to grant mass amnesty rather than these harsh deportation policies that have a negative effect on American citizens. American citizens' constitutional rights are being violated on a regular basis because of the deportation policy of Donald Trump. I'm saying, yes, I recognize the immigration system is broken. Do you hear me? Broken. No one's saying just open the borders. Everyone understands that the system is broken. Now, I'd argue that we should make it easier to become an American citizen. But the question is, what do we do with the population of people who are currently present in the United States who are undocumented, right? Do we grant my thought would be granting mass amnesty when you consider that they commit very low crime per capita, as we've already gone over, and that they contribute significantly to our economy through their tax contributions.
I guess they would be better off if they're such great people. They're off going back to their own country and fixing it.
So this is
so
just
awesome.
really, this is not about anything. So you can't look at this like an adult and say, okay, well, are they good or bad for the country, right? You're just kind of mad at them because they're undocumented. You can't give me an actual
everything
negative
as a whole. No, they don't affect me negatively at all. I know
then
that.
Then why not grant them mass amnesty and give them a pathway to citizenship so they can contribute to our economy as they already are?
Are we just going to get all the good people from all the shithole countries and leave them with nothing?
Yeah, you're just a bigot,
all
dude.
the
You can't give me the negative fiscal consequence of undocumented immigrants.
Yeah.
Give me the negative social consequence. Can you give me a negative consequence of the presence of the people who are already here? The undocumented immigrants, they're already here. So now the issue is, what do you do with the people already present in this country, right? We have a population of people who are here and undocumented. What do we do with these people? Should we not consider that they're a net positive on our economy and potentially grant them mass amnesty to benefit other American taxpayers?
But since we disagree on that, how do you feel about the war?
There we go. He can't answer, folks, because this is just about you don't like immigrants. You don't like immigrants. You can't establish there's a negative consequence. You just don't fucking like immigrants, dude. You don't like immigrants. Give me a negative consequence. Give me one. Give me a negative consequence. Go.
Okay, why can they come and get CDLs? We have undocumented gang members coming in. They kill, they rape, nothing happens. Okay.
Really?
Yeah. Oh,
okay,
do we do it? Yes, we do. But it wouldn't happen if they would come illegally.
And what happens to them? They're arrested and
they get deported.
Okay, so.
Oh yeah, but you know how many times there's been people like 45 crimes.
But are you
get
concerned
fucking
with lowering the amount of women who are raped? Because if you were, you wouldn't be focusing on this particular population of people. If you were concerned,
But that would be more like Africa.
Let me
You're
explain.
right.
Let me explain. Right, I'm trying to simplify this for you because you clearly can't understand. Okay, if the goal is to lower the amount of crime in this particular category, let's say rape.
Well, now you're going to get into like.
No, I'm
That's a
saying
touchy subject.
I'm trying to prove that you're being disingenuous. Let's say you want to lower the rate of crime in this particular category, okay? Wouldn't you look at what population primarily commits this category of crime? Before
black
you
people.
just say, well, undocumented immigrants, some of them do it, so we should then demonize an entire population of people and deport them. Should we not consider their overwhelming positive contributions and maybe
Oh my God,
consider
America has been
granting
such a
mass
bleeding heart for too long.
America is immigrants. It doesn't exist without immigrants. Who do you think built this country, Chud?
Oh, no shit, we came a boat. Of course it's from immigrants.
You just don't like them because they look different than you. That's why you can't establish there's a negative consequence.
Yes, that's totally it.
It clearly is. It clearly is.
It's not
that's
about
why
just
you're not
vetting
giving me a
people coming to the
legitimate
country.
consequence. That's why you're not giving me a
All
legitimate
right, call them a racist.
So
when,
should
know.
American citizens be killed in the streets of Minnesota? Is it justified that American citizens have had their constitutional rights violated, that they've been executed and so on? Is the problem, are the consequences severe enough that those deaths are justified? Yes or no?
I think there should be harsher actions.
Wow.
People
So
are
you're
so
saying,
fucking
no, I'm
entitled
talking about
these days.
American citizens. The American
know who you're
citizens.
talking about.
So you're saying more American citizens should die?
More people should face consequences, yeah, in general. Everyone gets
For
a
what?
slap on the wrist these days. But
Consequences for what?
whole
What did
other
Alex
thing.
Preddy do?
I don't know who that is.
The guy who died in Minnesota. They disarmed him. They took his firearm off him and executed him. What did he do wrong to deserve that?
Don't go to protest with a gun, I guess.
Really? Is there a law against exercising your Second Amendment right?
Of course not, but probably don't be at a protest one. Use some common sense.
So are you anti-Second Amendment now? You're saying a guy who was lawfully
Hell no, I
exercising
love
his
guns,
right to carry?
but use some
Do you know,
common sense.
even the NRA spoke out against that and said it was wrong.
Yeah, it happens though.
There
I
you
don't
go,
know why
folks.
we get all
He's perfectly
wishy-washy about
fine
it.
with an American citizen exercising his Second Amendment right, dying in the street, being disarmed, and being executed in the street simply because he's exercising his constitutional right to protest. This is the same party that claims they care about the Second Amendment. Sick, folks. What I'm simply saying is the immigration system is broken. But when it comes to the people that are already here, is it productive
Call from
Alex.
to implement these harsh deportation policies that ultimately have negative consequences for the American population? Are you a Trump supporter?
I am, yes.
Getting a basic surface level understanding of what kind of Trump supporter you are, what do you think about Donald Trump posting a picture on Truth Social depicting himself as Jesus?
I mean, I figured that should we not try to emulate Jesus at all times if we're Christian?
Through patterned behavior according to the Bible, not depicting yourself as Jesus, though, right? There are specific behaviors that you should pattern your behavior after, but no, you shouldn't depict yourself as Jesus. That's blasphemy.
Oh, well, I mean, there's nuance in that. I mean, he thought it was
Explain it.
himself as a doctor, so, I mean, even Jesus would take a joke. I don't understand that part about it.
What?
I mean, unless you're Catholic and you're, like, that staunch that you can't understand, like, hey, he's actually trying to do some good here.
What? I don't understand what your argument is. Is it blasphemous to depict yourself as Jesus?
I mean, to depict yourself, yeah. I mean, you could claim yourself as Jesus, and that's blasphemous. But I mean, to have an AI video or a picture even of that, I mean, I see it more as kind of like a toward gesture.
I don't know what you're trying to say.
I really had no problem with that, but
so
I guess the reason I called was more.
What do you know? What is Exodus 23?
I believe that was the building of the tabernacle.
Forbids what?
Correct me if I'm wrong.
Forbids what?
Well, I mean, you asked a very specific question.
Making other gods or idols before the Lord. What does blasphemy mean?
Well, then I could say the same thing about Catholics and their worship of Mary, but
does
I'm not going to complain because
mean?
they still believe Christ is Lord.
Are you going to seriously tell me that picture, you wouldn't consider that picture mocking the divine?
No, I thought it was genuine.
Then why did he delete it?
Well, because he had a lot of backlash from Catholics and several other Protestant groups.
What? Evangelical Christians dragged him for that. What are you talking about?
Okay, so yeah, people have their opinions. They're
Don't say it was Catholics because it was Christians were furious about that. Furious about that.
Well,
do you think that is blasphemy?
Catholics
do you think that blasphemy? Would you agree?
I'm not going to complain about that.
Would you agree blasphemy means treating the holy things of God lightly, or using the things of God as like self-glorification?
Do you really think that Jesus only wore white robes with a red shawl?
No, but I'm telling you that he is depicted that way in a number of Renaissance era paintings of healings, and that was Donald Trump's intent when he posted that picture, understanding that he was
and those were also thought to be blasphemous when they were first drawn. Come on, dude. I mean, culture and time.
You know damn well it's offensive. I find it offensive that you aren't standing up for the image of Christ. I find it deeply troubling that you're not standing up for the image of Christ, that you are willing to defend Donald Trump over the image of Christ.
That's exactly the point. We should be the image and likeness of Christ. I don't understand why you're so offended.
Because I find it incredibly disrespectful that Donald Trump thinks that he can post himself as Jesus Christ. And by the way, let me explain this also. The fact that the most offensive part of all of this, and by the way, Pick and Grin, thank you so much. Appreciate you. Says, thank you, MAGA. Keep supporting left-wing independent media and keep calling Adam's live stream. Thank you, Pick and Grin. Appreciate you. 100%. Guys, Guy, don't talk when I'm talking or I'll hang up on you. All right? Don't talk when I'm talking.
Well, you already interrupted me, but okay, go ahead.
All right. Watch how quickly I tell you, stop talking when I'm talking, and you keep talking. Guys, I would appreciate, we have 6 minutes left on the gifting goal. I would appreciate supporting the gifting goal. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Guys, by definition, it's blasphemous. It's not up for interpretation. Okay? It's not up for interpretation. But I just find it crazy that their political indoctrination is more important than their religion. Are you a Trump supporter?
Yeah.
Are you the same guy?
Well, I mean...
You don't interrupt me. There's consequences for your actions, man. I told you to shut up. You told me no, so now you're gone. It's that simple, right? This guy in chat that says Trump 2028, Trump 32. I highly recommend that you read the 22nd Amendment. Do you know what the 22nd Amendment of the Constitution is?
Call from
Ryan.
Ryan, what's going on, dude? Are you a Trump supporter?
I have been for the better part of a decade.
A decade? 210 Rain Christopher, thank you so much for the $4.99 super chat. Appreciate you. This is a good comment from Christopher. Says, let me just mute this caller calling in really quick. I'm going to get to you in a second. Guess, if we should aim to be Christ-like, How do you feel about immigration? I think Christ said something about that. They do. That is a great point, Christopher. Christopher in the chat. That is a great point. Listen, let me explain this as simple as possible, folks. They would deport Jesus. So do you no longer support Trump? And what's your first name again?
Ryan.
Ryan, do you no longer support Trump?
I mean, I'm a Republican, and well, Trump's been a Democrat for 50 years, and so I support my party. I support our objectives, the way of life that we have. I support the future of the country.
Do you have me on speakerphone or something, dude? Do you have me on Bluetooth or?
I'm in earbuds.
Huh?
I'm on earbuds. I have my baby in my hands.
Can you take those off by any chance? Because the sound is not good.
Hold on 1 second.
Yeah, just take the earbuds out, and it's not a good listening experience for the audience. So,
can you hear it now?
It sounds better. So, really quick, do you support Donald Trump's decision-making as it concerns the war in Iran? As we know today, by the way, for people who aren't paying attention, by the way, 4 minutes left on the gifting goal. Guys, I would really appreciate if we could complete this gifting goal. If you do support the content, KeyCat, thank you for the $5 super chat. The Strait of Hormuz is open, according to Iran, because Israel has agreed not to bomb Lebanon. Obviously, there's a ceasefire there. So for the length of that ceasefire, they will keep the strait open. All right. Go ahead, dude. What's your thoughts on Iran? Yes.
Well, I think it was a bad move. I think if we would have went in and left after the first 24 hours, it would have been a great conflict or war, whatever they want to call it. But, you know, for some reason, I feel our government is being dragged and has been being dragged by a specific nation and a specific tyrant who runs the nation.
Say it. It's Israel. It's
fucking Israel. Satan Yahoo.
Yeah. So
there's that, and I understand Trump's gotten $230 million from AIPAC in the last couple of years.
Right.
I believe the rest of the Epstein files, I don't think there's any smoking gun on Trump in there. I think there's a smoking gun against Israel. And I think all the fingers point back, you know, when we attacked Yemen and Lebanon and Iraq, all these other countries, it's all led by one group of people. And it's the same group of people that are dragging our country down now. And, you know, as a Republican, a lot of people thought that it was going to be different.
Yeah, well,
they thought Trump was going to hold his nuts and say, no, we're not doing this. But
well, listen, I could have told him that. Look, here's the thing: we have a major problem with AIPAC influence, American-Israeli influence in our government. It's really Netanyahu's agenda that's being funded, and that's the problem.
Right.
Prognosis, thank you for the $5 super chat. Says God bless your patience. Thank you, Prognosis. Appreciate you so much. Thank you for supporting. Consider becoming a member of the channel. Barb G, thank you for the $4.99 super chat to support all you do. Blue tidal wave. Let's go. Too big to rig, Barb G. Kiss, thank you for the $4.99 super chat, and appreciate you. 210 ring, Christopher $4.99. Appreciate you so much. Listen, here's the thing, dude. Right? Here's the thing. We have a major issue, right? But Donald Trump's the worst I've ever seen. This war has everything to do with Israel. How do I know that? Well, the Secretary of State said it. He said it right in the beginning, right? When Donald Trump was asked, was he baited into this war by Israel? He said, well, no, I'm the one who decided. We got intelligence that Iran was going to attack U.S. military bases, and this is a short-term investment to make sure that Iran doesn't attack the United States with nuclear weapons in the future. And then Marco Rubio came out and said Israel was planning an action, and these were preemptive strikes to prevent them from attacking U.S. military bases. That's all you need to know right there. It is absolutely
right, but you do realize
Israel.
You realize, right, 100%. And listen, there's a lot of Republicans that they're not pleased about this. And people say, oh, they can get out of there before whatever, August, September, and everything will be good. There's a lot of Republicans, conservatives especially, pushing for not only to not vote in the midterms, but to vote Democrat to punish the whole party, because it's like we've got all three branches of government, and what are they doing? What have they done? They've done nothing. There's no mass deportations, and I know you're strong on that, but that's the only reason Trump got elected.
So let me say this:
he's had less deportations than Biden has.
He's been unsuccessful because he's an incompetent. But you know what he's been successful at? violating the constitutional rights of American citizens, killing American citizens, brutalizing
Well, he didn't have any power
cities.
over that.
Listen, his policies, like Greg Bovino in specific, and if we were on TikTok, I'd pull up pictures for you. I was in Minnesota. Greg Bovino walked right towards me with his trench coat with big federal agents, and I watched them beat American citizens who were merely protesting in the street. Doesn't matter what side of the fence you're on. These policies are the problem. No one's denying the immigration system is broken. Your solution sucks. The Republican solution sucks. And that's why I was trying to break down that what truly are you doing here? What is the negative consequence? Because I think they've fallen for the bait in terms
I
of
know
some
what
of
the negative
propaganda that's been
consequence is.
portrayed. What?
Well, a party that constantly points a finger at Republicans and say dictators and king. I mean, if you invite 10, 20 million people into, let's put it this way, if Trump puts word out and he pushes for Ukraine, Russia, Jordan, a bunch of nations, and imports 50 or 60 million people, brings them to America, floods hotels, pays for their food and clothes and cell phone bills, and does that for years and years and years, who are those people going to vote for? They're going to vote for his party. And that's exactly what Democrats did. They did it intentionally. It's the only time a president has ever just said, we'll just open the border.
And what
Kamala Harris already said that if she wins, she's going to do it again. When they killed,
what
you got to remember,
it was time?
Remain in Mexico. It was a great policy.
And that allowed for how many millions of undocumented immigrants?
I think 1 million a year was.
Stop it.
What
now
it
it's
is,
a
right?
million. Now it's 1 million a year.
Listen, you realize. Let me make a point to you real quick.
No,
I mean, that's what we were taking in.
I want to respond. The point I'm making here is that the immigration system as a whole is broken. Donald Trump does not truly care about these issues. If he did, then he would execute them properly. He doesn't care about these policies. You guys were fooled. You were tricked into believing these things. What happened to the No New Wars agenda? What happened to that? What happened to the anti-war?
You want to know what happened to that?
Hold on, I'll tell you. When we were leading up to this, when we were what happened was Trump was a Zionist from the very beginning, and you guys were so consumed with the propaganda.
He can't be a Zionist. You have to be a Christian.
Trump's
a Jew. You realize that? He's admitted it. He admitted it with Mark Levine holding on to him on his stage. Mark Levine said, "Our first Jewish president," and Donald Trump said twice, he's right.
Yeah,
I am.
I mean, again, that's what Zionists.
That's money. That's money.
The point is this. The point is this. He agrees with the Greater Israel Project, and again, this isn't a secret. What bothers me is that you guys think this is a secret. Donald Trump was negotiating with Benjamin Netanyahu before he even got elected. Was that not a warning? I mean, that's highly illegal. We called it out. You can't negotiate on behalf of the United States unless you're approved to do so, right? We were talking about criminal.
Well, it's Israel. Israel does whatever they want. They've got nukes, and they're the only ones that don't even have to.
Not worried about Israel. I'm worried about controlling our politicians. Israel is,
That's Israel.
Again, you understand what I'm saying. Thanks for calling in. Appreciate it. All right, let's get another caller in here. If you are a Trump supporter, 908-652-3703. The point is that the point I'm trying to make so people can understand is this is not a secret. For those of you acting like you're shocked that Donald Trump betrayed you, it's because you weren't paying enough attention. Okay, it's not because Donald Trump fooled you. These things were evident. Okay, these things were clear as day. He was sitting down with Netanyahu as the president-elect. People wanted him criminally prosecuted then. Are you a Trump supporter?
I used to be.
Okay, well, you're not now, so let's see if we can get one now. Are you a Trump supporter?
Yes, sir, I am.
Okay, really quick, to get a surface-level understanding, I'm running out of time here, to get a surface-level understanding of what kind of Trump supporter you are, how do you feel about Donald Trump portraying himself as Jesus in this most recent post? Do you think that's evidence of a pattern of cognitive decline?
I think it's a pattern of a social media intern not doing their job well.
Elaborate.
Do you think that he's running that social media account, generating his own AI images?
He admitted it.
Yeah, that's what he said. Do you think that's what's actually happened? Do you trust him now?
So
you take him at his word?
So you think he's defending some aide that would face zero consequences if they were the one who posted it?
He said that he was depicting himself as a Red Cross worker, not as Jesus. That's what he said.
Right. But is that true? I mean, have you ever seen a Red Cross worker's hands glow?
I'm not disagreeing that that's obviously not the case. That's, again, I'm going back to your original argument that he was not the one who posted that.
Based off what?
So,
where are you getting this from?
Where am I? Common sense. How many 80-year-olds do you know that are generating AI images and posting them?
First of all, no one said he generated the image. What we're saying is he posted the image.
Okay, again, you think that he is actively posting everything on his Truth Social account.
He admitted it.
Okay, he also said it was depicting him as a Red Cross worker.
Right.
So again, I'm saying you trust him now.
What I'm telling you is that if there was an aide that posted it on his behalf, he would have no problem saying someone else posted it, which he's previously done in other circumstances.
Again, do you want to talk about like the small stuff? Like,
it's not small.
Can we talk about immigration, or can we talk about Iran?
It is a pattern of cognitive decline that needs to be recognized. And if Biden or Obama posted themselves as Jesus Christ, you guys would be talking about it for 5 fucking years. And I find it funny that you guys want to overlook it as a small thing when, by the way, I'm mentioning this in conjunction with a number of different examples of Donald Trump exemplifying cognitive decline.
Okay. Well, were you saying the same thing during Biden's years?
In terms of, give me one equivalent.
His debate performance? Particularly, were you saying that there's a cognitive decline?
Wait, hold on. You think Biden's debate performance is equivalent to Donald Trump depicting himself as Jesus?
No, I'm asking if you noted Biden's cognitive decline. And again, this isn't what I wanted to call about.
Well, I don't give a shit what you wanted to call about. This is something I asked you. I decide what I wanted to ask you, and this is what you're responding to.
I disagree with it.
Okay.
I disagree with it.
That's all you had to say. That's all you had to say.
There we go.
That's all.
Regardless of who posted it.
No, Trump posted it. You should say, "Yep,
okay,
it was wrong."
Trump posted it. I disagreed. I disagree.
Do you support the war in Iran?
Absolutely. Got a question. Are you familiar with Diego Garcia, our base there?
Yes.
Okay. What was special about Iran's attack on that base?
What was special? I don't know. What do you mean?
Well, you quoted earlier. You said earlier that they don't have the missile tech to hit the U.S. Right? You said that definitively. Like that's okay. Well, so let me ask you this: how did they hit Diego Garcia? Because it was assumed by intelligence and everybody else they didn't have missiles that could go over 2,000 kilometers.
That wasn't.
And
the
then
claim.
surprise, they've been lying
the
whole. Surprise. They've been lying the whole time and had missiles that could go 4,000 kilometers.
Do they have missiles that can reach the United States? Yes or no?
Do you think you can honestly answer that question?
Yes, they don't have missiles.
Okay, good. So you've got intelligence.
So we know they could reach parts of Eastern Europe. We knew that they could do this. We didn't know exactly, but we knew they couldn't reach the United States. Everyone knows this. Our intelligence agency. By the way, did you watch the House Intel Committee hearing? Because they discussed this.
Yeah, I've got a lot of things that I think that you're missing the picture on.
I'm not
do you have any idea
anything.
why?
What are the primary objectives of the conflict?
To put Iran in a position where we have total control of the oil flow.
It's totally
no,
incorrect.
Absolutely, you're absolutely wrong. If you do not think
wait.
that
So
Venezuela
you know what the objectives are, but not the administration. You, a chud, calling my fucking live stream, know what the objectives are, but not Trump. What did the president and what does the White House say the objectives of the conflict are?
Do you know anything about bargaining friction?
Oh my God,
at all?
Guy's a fucking clown. Guy, you don't have intelligence that I don't have. What is
Okay,
the
homie, let me
administration
ask-
claiming is the objective of the conflict, pseudo-intellectual?
Okay, they are claiming that it is to denuclearize Iran.
And
correct?
do you have
We're
some
same
kind
page?
of evidence otherwise?
Yeah, I do, actually.
Okay,
if you'd
provide
like
me
to
the
listen.
intelligence and the source, please. so
No,
I
no,
can
no. Do you know what intelligence is in the first
Guys,
place?
it's just this guy's opinion. It's not based on
No,
anything.
do you watch William Spaniel?
Do you
He's actually
have
a pretty
any
liberal.
intelligence?
Do you watch
Do you
William? Do you watch
have
any kind of geopolitical
Shut the fuck
analysis
up,
whatsoever?
pseudo-intellectual. Do you have any intelligence that indicates otherwise, yes or no?
Do you want to listen?
Answer the question.
Yes.
Okay, show it to me. Where do
Definitively.
I look it up?
Oh no, go look up William Spaniel on YouTube because
No, we're not looking up a YouTube person. Do you have
He's actually
intelligence that indicates the administration is
Jesus
playing
Christ.
chess and we're all playing checkers, pseudo-intellectual? Do you think you're the first person that's argued this stupid point to me, that Donald Trump is playing this strategic game of checkers and we're all morons that don't know what's really happening? Do you have any intelligence that indicates otherwise?
Yes. Why did we go into
Okay,
Venezuela
what's the
first?
source?
Why did we go? And no, I'm asking.
What
you
is
want to have
the
a
source?
conversation.
You said yes. What is the source?
Nobody that you're clearly interested in
What
listening to
is
what's
the
actually
source?
happening. Oh,
'Cause
would you
my-
like it laid out on a piece of paper?
Watch,
because you're
this
too
is how
stupid to
this
understand
goes,
anything
everybody.
else?
Just so everybody understands. When you have a debate and you make a claim, you have to provide a source. What is the source?
So would you?
I'm going to ask you one more time.
No, no.
What is the
what's the source to you? What is a source?
What
to you?
is the
we gotta
source?
be
Now
clear
he
on that.
wants to know what a source is, everyone.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
this
I would
is-
like to know that.
Have you ever debated before? You don't know what a source is? What is your
No,
source
I'm
of
clear.
information?
So again, are you only paying attention?
He doesn't know. So again, ladies and gentlemen, if you're going to perpetuate some ridiculous theory that you think Trump is performing some strategic attempt to control China or this and that, make sure you have a source. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You're just a chud. By the way, I've gotten this argument 1,500 times in the last week. Provide a source. You can't provide a source because you don't have one. And YouTube is not a source, you dumbass. Are you a Trump supporter?
No, I am not.
Call from.
Are you a Trump supporter?
Yes.
Okay, where do you live?
Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay, why? Okay, do you support the war in Iran?
No.
Okay, well, I'm looking for Trump support. Okay, so why don't you support the war in Iran?
I don't support the war in Iran. Kind of for the reason.
Hey, MAGA, cry,
been going on
MAGA.
for-
Keep crying, MAGA. Keep crying, MAGA. I just want to kiss my fish. I just want to not provide a source. I don't have a source to justify my theory. I'm just a troglodyte. Go ahead, bro. I'm just trolling MAGA. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. I was like, whoa. All right. But no, I actually agree with what you saying that this war is Israel's fault. A lot of people won't say it. And I've supported Trump from before he was a president. You know, I liked him as an entertainer. And I feel like a lot of people won't let that go. Like, even though we support him still, you still have to admit when people are wrong. And I feel like a lot of supporters don't want to do that. They have a hard time not defending the wrong shit. And people need to hear that. They're like, hey, we got to stand against this shit. A lot of people don't get that.
Look, I think that it comes down to whether or not you have any integrity, right? Whether or not you actually want to admit you were wrong. And so this is a common argument for Trump supporters. So they basically can't, like that previous caller who's a complete pseudo-intellectual, and I talk to them all the time, they can't justify the actual objectives of the administration. And so what they're arguing is some fantasy objective. By the way, we're still in the middle of this war. We do not have a deal with Iran, right? We don't have have any kind of
Right.
the Strait of Hormuz is only temporarily open because of the truce between Israel and Lebanon. So it's just these guys are just pathetic. They really are. By the way, John, thank you so much for sending me money to fucking try and insult me, you goof.
Sorry.
Bro, John sent me $10 to fucking try and insult me.
Thanks
Thank
for
you
the
so
support,
much,
John.
John, thank you for the $10, John. Appreciate it. $10 to watch your fellow Trump supporters get dunked on. I gave him 10 chances to provide a source. He can't, other than YouTube, because there is none. It's just his theory. And theories can't be substantiated with evidence, then they don't matter in the conversation, right? Look, here's the thing. If you're a Trump supporter and you continue to support this, okay, then elaborate why, right? And some people will be genuine in their argument, and they'll say, okay, you know, hey, I think that they might actually want to harm the United States, and we can have a legitimate conversation about that. Are there potentially other benefits to succeeding in this war? Sure. Did Donald Trump originally claim there was regime change? Regime change was an objective? Yes. Does he claim that regime change has already occurred? Yes. These are all a part of the conversation we can have. But you're going to provide a source if you're going to claim that this is Donald Trump's ultimate objective. You're not going to just tell me your theory because you watched a YouTuber tell it to you.
Hey, am I able to speak on that, on the Iran situation?
Yeah, go ahead.
So I feel like a lot of people are blinded by the fact that the last time that we had a real justification was 9/11, so to speak, and there's a lot of talk about that and what happened with that. But, you know, we had an actual terrorist attack on the homeland. What has Iran actually done to us since then to justify anything? If you weren't even going to say they were behind the original scheme, like, why are we there now? What happened to us? We're usually retaliatory, so what are we retaliating against?
Yeah, I mean, so they're claiming the hostility defense is, or at least the president is that Iran was going to attack, the United States in the middle of these negotiations. But we've seen like the Secretary of State claim the exact opposite, and there really is no legitimate hostility defense if that's what you're asking.
Yeah, and I kind of figured that, like, how we have this sense of we're the biggest, baddest country everywhere. I honestly feel like a country could shoot a nuke at us, and we somehow are going to shoot it down. So I feel like there was nothing that Iran, any kind of threat they posed, that was great enough for us to go ahead and attack them how we're attacking them. And like I said, you can support somebody, but you still have to be intelligent enough to question their decisions. Like, you're supposed to be able to question your leader at any time, and if they can't show you a true path forward, it's like, okay, well, I don't agree with this. Like, what's the real reason that we're over here? Is it because Israel just said it? Like, do we have any proof that they were going to attack?
I don't think there's one specific reason why. So part of the issue I have with these conversations is a lot of times people want to argue there's one specific reason we're doing this. I think there's a number of different reasons, right? I would argue even the Epstein files played into the decision to do this, right? Donald Trump was in a corner. The media was dominated by headlines of Donald Trump essaying children, so I think that made him more vulnerable and easily outmaneuvered by the administration. But let's be clear about one thing. Israel has been trying to convince U.S. presidents to do this for decades. It's nothing new. It didn't happen yesterday. It's been happening for a long time. And they said no. Donald Trump said yes. That's important to remember. Wow. Another important fact to remember. Donald Trump conducted a military operation in the summer of 2025. Operation Midnight Hammer. Claimed that operation was a success. Claimed that we destroyed their ability to develop nuclear weapons. Said they were years away from developing these capabilities. Right? And then claimed it was a primary objective just months later. Whatever the case is, there is no hostility defense, which means this war is not justified.
I like that point of view, and I definitely agree with that.
Thanks for calling in, dude. Appreciate it. I love how Trump supporters talk about like intelligence level. I've been cooking you guys for years. You don't know there are literally Trump supporters in chat who they don't know the difference between your and your, there, and there, two, and two, and they're talking about intelligence level. They couldn't tell me the 4 objectives of the conflict, and they're talking about intelligence. Listen, Trump supporters, couple things you need to understand. One is you voted for a pedophile. That's number one. Number 2 is you're incompetent, and the rest of the world knows it. Okay? You're the only ones that don't know it. What's up? Are you a Trump supporter?
Yes, I am.
Okay, go ahead. What are your thoughts on the war in Iran? By the way, to the mod that said someone was muted, I can't unmute people. I don't know what you're talking about. So you need to figure out how to fix that. You need to send them a message and tell them that you accidentally muted them, so that way they know they were accidentally muted, and then we need to figure out how to undo it. So send them a message. I unfortunately do not have the ability to do this right now. Go ahead.
I support Trump in the war in Iran. I think you guys have a fundamental misunderstanding of what Islam is.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, they're a religion that specifies conquest and jihad. So if you're going to let them get something so powerful...
Hey, dude, your mic is kind of like muffled. I can't hear you.
Hold on a second, boss.
No, I can't even understand what you're saying.
Sorry, I'm trying to work and listen to you, man. How you doing today?
What's up? Go ahead.
Well, so I think you have a fundamental misunderstanding about like what Islam is and their whole jihad.
You can't spell fundamental, but go ahead. Tell me, what do I misunderstand? John, thank you for John. Just keep going, John. Appreciate it, John. Keep going, John. Appreciate it. John is sending a fortune here to get his point out. Go ahead.
Well, they obviously want to impose Islam across the world. They're going to do that by any means necessary.
Okay, is Sharia law a governing principle anywhere in the United States?
Not yet. Give it time.
Okay.
People like you bow down to it.
Well, what am I bowing down to? It's not a governing principle anywhere. Where is it being advocated to be a governing principle? Is there a candidate running that's actively trying to implement Sharia law? Where is this coming from? How do you know this is going to happen?
Well, look at the change in Dearborn, Michigan, and all that shit going down.
Okay, is Sharia law a governing principle?
Soon, you let them do it, they will.
Okay, so what your argument is that Islam is going to take over the rest of the world, and that's why we need to attack Iran?
Well, I think that it is specified in their doctrine that that's their intention, and you have to take it seriously at their word.
The imminent threat is that Sharia law will be eventually implemented in the United States.
Yeah.
That's nothing short of idiotic. And by the way, what does the word imminent mean?
It's going to happen.
It's about to happen, right? So, like, when you're claiming there's a hostility defense that justifies attacking a country, what does that typically mean?
In what form are you talking about?
What? What do you mean, what form?
Well, you look at their hostilities across the Middle East. They support a bunch of terrorist organizations like Hezbollah and the Houthis that attack everybody around there. Why should they be allowed to do that?
So what I would argue is that why don't you just replace that with the United States? We have a history of doing just that. Number one, let's go over a couple very important points here. Iran doesn't have the military power to invade or conquer the United States. Like that guest that called before and thought he was a genius. They do not have the technology to even attack the United States. Okay, they're strong in the Middle East, I'd say, relatively strong, but they can't reach or militarily occupy American cities. Okay, our military massively outmatches theirs. Now, when you invade their country, they're certainly going to have a strategic advantage in terms of like choking the Strait of Hormuz. But when it comes to head-to-head military conflict, they're heavily outmatched. Wouldn't you agree?
Well, yeah, but Islam never fights you on a fair plane. You got to look at their proxies and how they govern the region everywhere else around there.
Okay, but I'm
Sure,
just
they
saying
can't go
imposing
head to head.
Islam in the United States is not realistic. Right?
Well,
I
give
mean,
it
we have a
time.
constitution that protects religious freedom. It keeps the government secular. Even if they tried to what the degree in which you're saying, I would say Christianity, Christian nationalism is more of a threat to our constitution than Islam in terms of their ideology. There's no
Our
legal
Constitution is
authority.
built off Christian nationalism.
Huh?
Our Constitution was built off Christian nationalism.
Can you tell me what the Establishment Clause is, please?
Nah, bro.
Yeah, I didn't think so. So we have a separation of church and state. We have a wall of separation. Are you familiar?
Uh-huh.
Clearly not.
Your founding fathers were Christians. Every state that was in the Union when they signed it was specifically Christian. You have a Christian doctrine that's being overthrown by secularism that opens the door to other ideologies such as Islam.
Can you tell me, do we have a wall of separation, and what is the Establishment Clause?
No, you got me on that one. I'm arguing fundamentalism here.
That's what I'm
The
saying.
fundamental
Is that we have a
idea-
system designed to allow for religious freedom. Congress shall
Do you
not
think
what?
when the founding fathers thought religious freedoms, they were thinking of Hinduism and Islam?
What?
Or do you think they were talking between the difference between Catholic and Protestant, evangelicalism, and things along those lines?
What I'm saying is there's a wall of separation. So if you're, how are Islamic extremists going to implement their ideology as a part of a governing system?
Well, they're the only religion that you're not allowed to be dogmatic against. Christianity gets shit on in every possible way. You can't even draw a picture of Muhammad. You'll get your head cut off.
But not here. So I'm saying, how
Not
will
yet.
they implement
That's
that
my
system?
argument.
Okay, but based off what? How will they implement that system here is what I'm saying.
Well, you look, they just tried to do it in what? Was it Texas where they just banned Sharia law because they understood how dangerous it was? Or was that
We
Florida?
have a separation of church and state. If you don't know what that is,
For now.
listen, if you don't know what the wall of separation is, if you don't understand what the Establishment Clause is, you're clearly not going to understand this conversation. Okay, it's kind of stupid
You
what
have
you're
a
arguing.
very...
I hate to say it. If you don't know what that is, you can't have the conversation. That's why you don't understand. I would say if you're going to argue that there's a particular religion that is a threat to our country, I would argue Christianity, Christian nationalism, right? People who weaponize the Christian faith is far more of a threat to our political system in terms of the separation of church and state than Islam. Okay. It's just the fact that you don't know that there's a separation of church and state. Of course you think that it's a threat. I mean, it makes total
Call
sense.
from
AJ.
Yes, did you call before?
I have not.
Yes, are you a Trump supporter? Yes, are you a Trump supporter?
I am not, but I
Bro,
think I
you're
agree
like
with you.
5 years
Trump is
old,
horrible.
bro. You're like 5. You can't.
You're wrong.
You can't. I'm sorry, man. You can't call a political show when you're 5 years old. It's just not a thing, man. No offense. Guys, do you see how triggered I've gotten Trump supporters today? Do you guys see how triggered Trump supporters got during the course of this live? W's in the chat if you love how mad Trump supporters got through the course of this live. W's in the chat if you loved watching Trump supporters squirm because they couldn't perpetuate their ridiculous narrative, which they've never been able to successfully achieve. Not in here. Not in here. I love every second of it. I love every second of it, maggots.
Call from
This is
Yes, are you a Trump supporter?
Yes, but I'm not happy with him right now.
I understand that.
No,
Okay, why aren't you
because I
happy
think
with
he got us into this war in Iran and opened a Pandora's box. Because my fear is You got some of the sleeper cells here, and they're going to do something.
Well,
so I totally disagree with him going in. And also, yes, the picture of the Pope was blasphemy. So I'm very disappointed with the man right now.
Well, I'd say a couple things. I agree with you about 75% of the way. There's never been real evidence to substantiate their sleeper cells. Because, I mean, look, the proof is in the pudding, right? If there was sleeper cells, I think they would have reacted already.
It's speculation, I'll say that.
But let's just break it down. Right? Let's actually just critically analyze this for a second, because I think it's somewhat of a dangerous narrative. It was a narrative perpetuated after 9/11 too. People often feared there was going to be attacks after the World Trade Center attacks. But let's just break this down really quick. The United States attacks Iran in the process of the initial decapitation strikes. They strike an educational institution that kills a bunch of little schoolgirls. Don't you think that would be the moment for sleeper cells to react?
I'm surprised they haven't yet, because my brother was in the South Tower. Okay.
Okay.
He survived, but he barely got out of there.
Guys, John is sending me. Guys, John has literally sent me $35 to talk shit, bro. I love it. Keep going, John. This is great. John, this is wonderful, John. Keep going, John. I love it. Keep going. Bro, John has sent me almost $40 to talk shit, bro. Go ahead, dude. He thinks that caller was a threat who couldn't provide a source. John, you must be new to debating. When a person makes a claim and they can't provide a source, they lose, right? And I don't know how long you've been debating. I've been debating for years. If you can't provide a source when you're debating and you make a claim, you automatically lose. Right? He claimed YouTube was his source. He was a chud, John. I know he seemed smart on your scale of like intelligence, but John, he wasn't smart. He was a clown who didn't know what he was talking about, like you. But thanks for the $40, John. Appreciate it. But go ahead, dude.
Yeah, another point I'd like to bring up. Let's go back in history to weapons of mass destruction.
That's not how
Was
it works,
there any?
Neo. Weapons of mass destruction during the Iraq War.
By the way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, were there? And that's why we went in and invaded Iraq, because there's weapons. But was it proven there was weapons of mass destruction?
No.
So it's speculative that that there may be a nuke and they may shoot it at us. Okay. And yes, I agree with you. I like your point on. And my brother, the one that was in the Trade Center, you almost kind of have the same exact ideals. He says, so what's the source that we went in there? Exactly. We had that conversation on the phone the other night, when I talked to him.
Yeah.
But, I'm disappointed with Trump. I don't know who's going to come in and replace him. But I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to bring up another point.
Uh-huh.
I'm in Florida now. I moved from New York City because of economics. Taxes. They want to tax everybody up there. And everybody's running from New York City, including myself. I left 8 months ago.
So let me just address the first point here. Who's going to replace him? At this point, this administration needs to be removed. And I'll say this because none of them are willing to step up and say this guy is out of control, which means they don't have the best interests of the American people in mind. All I care about is the interests of the American people. That outside of that, I don't care, right? And so what I look at is their unwillingness to step up and say, look, this guy is clearly not cognitively well. This guy has made decisions that have harmed the American people. I don't even think he's been sympathetic to the struggles of the American population in terms of paying higher fuel prices or higher prices at the grocery store. He says, well, you better get used to it. It's worth it, this and that. I think that the administration just
really
has proven enough for me, and I think they need to be removed across the board. I'm not shocked, though, because I expected this. I predicted this. I knew this administration wasn't qualified to do this job across the board, from our intelligence agencies to our vice president to our Department of Justice to the FBI. It doesn't matter. Across the board, underqualified, incompetent, and really, truthfully, not there for the best interests of the American people. They're there to consolidate power, and they're there for themselves to advance their own interests. But I think if we're able to get through this, I think what we need to do is we need to understand that the system needs to be entirely restructured. I think that's the most important part going forward, is just we need to restructure the entire system completely.
I agree.
And I hope if we're able to get out of this, right? I hope if we're able to come out on the other side of this, that ultimately people recognize that the system that we allowed to continue in this country for decades is what ultimately got us here. And we can't go back to the way things were during George W. Bush or even Barack Obama or anyone else before that. I think that we need an entirely new system that equally benefits every American citizen. And I don't think we should accept any less than that, because I'll tell you the truth. I think we're very close to seeing at least a partial collapse of that system. And then we're going to have an opportunity to either fix it, right, or allow these people to regain power. And I think at that moment we need to stand up and ultimately take back what's ours.
Well, you could have a civil war. It could be.
I prefer to use the word revolution, but yeah.
Yeah. But the thing is, that's a bad thing, and then people die for what? It's sad those people had to die in Minnesota. Their human life.
I don't want people to die. I don't encourage people to commit crimes. I want everyone to follow the law. I don't encourage anyone to break the law. I don't encourage anyone to hurt anyone. I think that we just have to wait and see what happens. But I do encourage people to exercise their constitutional rights to their fullest extent. Thank you so much for calling in. Appreciate it.
Thanks. Thank you.
Unfortunately, we have a particular population of people referred to as MAGA who are so indoctrinated to believe they are the true patriots that they're standing in the way. So anyone who truly cares about the country, anyone who truly cares about the Constitution, anyone who truly cares about the interests of the American people would stand up against MAGA. That's all there is to it. Hot Delta Force, you keep saying your mind small. Your mind small. Can you call in, please? And by the way, about 2 sentences ago, you spelled "you're" wrong. So,
Call from.
I got to go here in a minute. By the way, guys, make sure you hit the subscribe button so you do not miss future debate lives. I would appreciate it. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell so you do not miss future live streams. What's going on, dude?
Oh, not too much.
Are you a Trump supporter?
Yeah.
Okay, what's up? Do you agree with the war in Iran? Just to get a surface level understanding of what kind of Trump supporter you are you willing to admit that Donald Trump depicting himself as Jesus was blasphemy?
I do not necessarily agree, but it is something that is necessary.
Okay, can you elaborate?
The system that we have built that allows you to make these streams and make people argumentative against each other creates what we have allowed to happen.
So this guy's advocating against the First Amendment. Do you see what I'm saying, people? This is a MAGA chud who's advocating against free speech. This is the level of foolery we're dealing with here, folks. A system we've created for people to speak openly about their political opinions, this guy's advocating against. This is what these people want, folks. Complete control. You're not going to like it if they get what they want. I'm telling you right now. This guy's advocating against free speech. Dear God, could you get any more fascist than that? We've created a system that allows people to speak openly about their political opinions. We need to stop that. Jesus. That's deep. That's a deeply disturbing take right there. Yes, are you a Trump supporter?
Of course, man. Free Epstein.
Bro, you're 5 years old. What the hell is going on here? Thank you so much. Appreciate you. All right, that's an unknown caller, so we're not going to accept that. All right, folks, listen. If you did enjoy the live tonight, let's get some ones in the chat. Let's get some ones in the chat if you did enjoy the live tonight. Make sure you hit the subscribe button if you're new here. You got to hit the notification bell so that way you get a notification when I am live. I don't know what topic we're going to do next time. We'll see. If you guys have not followed me on TikTok yet, it's the same exact name on TikTok, Adam Cray, ADAMCRAI. I stream every single morning on TikTok. I do the news on TikTok every single morning. So make sure you guys go follow me on TikTok if you haven't, because you're missing 50% of the content if you haven't. I love you guys. Appreciate you. To you true patriots out there, to you true American patriots out there that want to stop senseless bombing in the Middle East, you true anti-war, let's focus on taking care of Americans who can't pay for their own health care costs. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. We need a hell of a lot more of you to speak up. We need a hell of a lot more of you to speak up. All right? Stop this ridiculous billionaire Zionist agenda. Start focusing on making sure American citizens can pay for their insulin, can pay for their medicine. You know, I had a friend who couldn't afford to bury his father. His father worked his entire life. Couldn't afford to bury his father. Is that the American dream? I don't think so. Love you guys. Have a wonderful night. Take care. Appreciate you. Make sure you guys hit the subscribe button. I will be live on TikTok in the morning. Love you guys. Take care.